The case for the generalist. I feel it's harder and harder to make this today. In the medical field, I always liked being an internist, and I still do. I know a lot, not super in depth, but decently in depth. And I remember this one attending I had who said that he doesn't need to consult any specialist for advice, for knowledge, for information, because he knows as much as they do. He just consults them because they do procedures he doesn't do. And I always thought, wow, he's so smart. He would never tell me he's the smartest person. He would never say that. I don't think he is. He doesn't know everything either. He knows a lot. He knows more than any other doctor I've ever met in my life. But I don't think he would say he knows everything either. But I realized we worked at a community hospital. We weren't at a specialized center, a tertiary center, a quaternary center, where people are specialized beyond belief. Where you say oncology and you're like, what body type? Right? Or I say radiology, what body type? What part of the body? Because there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of knowledge out there that he wouldn't know. And I think that, I find it very romantic to be a jack of all trades. And I think as a general internist, it's important to know a lot about a lot. But it's just impossible, right? I think I was listening to some GI lectures and they're saying these stupid, referrals. They didn't say those exact words. But these patients were told that their acute diverticulitis episode, right? They'll get over it. They'll be better in a few weeks, a month. And so they're here to see GI because it's not back to normal. But they don't expect them to be back to normal in a month. Even months, they can still have abnormal bowel movements. And I was one of those who would tell people you'll be fine, you'll be back normal, when I guess that's not correct. I don't see everything. I don't know everything. I read, I listen to a lot of lectures, specialty lectures, but still, I don't know everything and I can't. And that's the problem. There's just too much knowledge out there for a journalist to know everything. When you go to specialists, though, they're so limited in scope, right? They only know this, they only know that. Like I remember in medical school, we were all laughing as students because the cardiologist said, oh, diabetes, yeah. Why don't you consult endocrinology? I mean, it's very simple stuff as medical students we knew, but cardiologist has been so far beyond that they don't know anything about diabetes, basically. And that's the same way with a lot of specialists. They lose their knowledge that they had before. And I thought that was a bad thing. Because the body has lots of different organs working together. And if you don't know what they do, how can you work on fixing a human being? They're not just their heart alone. They're their heart in combination with their pancreas, with their brain, with their liver, etc. I think there's a more general question here. See, in medical school, we're all taught to be journalists in a sense, as in we have to improve on what we're not good at, right? You can't fail a topic completely. But come real life, you totally can't, right? Cardiologists don't have to know anything about diabetes. They'll pass their board exam fine, right? So why do they have to keep up to date with diabetic medications? They don't. They don't have to, and they don't keep up. Going back further, it's the idea that most people in school who do well at school aren't horrible in one particular subject. Except for PE, we like to make fun of this girl in high school who graduated like first or something, but she had got a B in PE, which we all found hilarious. She's obviously not very athletic. But the thing is, you can't fail classes, right? Like if you failed a class, you're not going to go very far. in terms of going to a great university, getting into a good postgraduate school. Because you have to do at least middling. Preferably, an A. Just not A plus like your other topics. And here's the thing. You spend a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort working at this one subject you're not good at. Can you imagine how much work it would take that girl who got a B, who's very non-athletic, to get an A in PE? I mean, we had these physical fitness tests that were actually pretty difficult. She would actually have to do a lot of training. It takes a lot of her time to improve from a B to an A. It's probably easier for her to get an A plus in all her other classes, the academic ones, than to get that B moved to an A. Right? I mean, think about it. If you're horrible at math, moving from a C to an A is much harder for you, right? Than, say, if you're wonderful in English, right? Moving from a C to an A. It just makes sense, right? You're not so good at it. And if you're not so good at it, it's harder for you to improve at it. That's only logical. So why do we spend so much time improving these things we're not good at? Why do we work on being well-rounded? In the medical field, I can make a justification. Because people in primary care or in a hospital, right? The general doctor on the wards, we need to know about a lot of stuff. Because otherwise, if we miss it, then the patient could be seriously injured. Because we're the first line of defense, right? Gotta know what's abnormal or not. So at least know some stuff, a little bit about it. But most people aren't in my profession. Why then is it beneficial for them to work so hard, to put in so much effort and energy to improve what they're not good at? And truthfully, other than the romantic ideal of somebody who can do everything, which is just simply not true in the world today, I don't know if it is.